Distraction is first a thing of the mind before it actualizes. The problem is at that point where you decided to study or you started studying, you only decided to study, you didn't decide that you were not going to be distracted. Getting distracted while studying is a big deal that some people have mastered how to study with distraction. Like they do not know how to study without being distracted, either with their phones, like social media, reading novels, or phone calls or any other thing like talking to friends, gisting, or even just daydreaming. Some distractions are easy to remove, while some are actually difficult to remove. The truth is that distraction itself is not the problem, but our inability to control the effect is the problem. You plan to sit down for 2 hours to study, and by the time you are done, you realize that you only studied for 40 minutes because you spent 1 hour 20 minutes doing whatever. But we listen, we don't judge. Distractions are normal. You always receive notification from your phone. Your social media does not know that you are studying at this point, or you're supposed to be studying, you're supposed to be sleeping. Notifications will always come. You always meet people that you know in, a random place where you decide to read. But what determines if they are truly distractions is whether you've learned how to or not to succumb to them. Tip number 1, you have to be ready to be strict on yourself. Notice that I did not just say you have to be strict to yourself, like you have to be ready to be strict to yourself, because being strict to yourself is a thing that is, so serious, because you have to be disciplined to decide to be strict to yourself. Like nobody is literally telling you do this, don't do this, but you tell yourself do this, don't do this, even with the fact that on a normal day that's not what your body wants. Do you know the level of discipline it takes to do something that you're not compelled to do? There was a point where I can't remember the level now, maybe 400 or 500, where I was heavily distracted by Instagram. Right, like once I carry my phone, any small thing, I'll open Instagram. Like if I carry my phone to do something, I would have spent like 3 minutes on Instagram before I remember why I originally carried my phone, right? So I knew that I had to be ready to be strict with myself. I deleted Instagram. Now, nobody forced me to delete Instagram. Nobody told me to delete Instagram. Do you know what it means for me to know that I really enjoy this app, but then I decide to delete it, right? It takes a level of being strict and being disciplined with yourself, right? And when I deleted it, it was so serious that even at some point, I think I opened it through Chrome. So from web, I was doing Instagram, but then after some time, because when I carry my phone, Instagram is not like what I'm saying on my own page. I literally have to go to, my web browser. So after like a couple of days, I started forgetting about the browser, because once I carry my phone, I would have done what I want to do before I even remember that, oh yeah, I can remember Instagram on my browser. Being strict with yourself is realizing that nobody is going to recognize these distractions for you and fix it for you. You have to recognize it yourself and fix it yourself. So what did I do? I remember on some occasions, I would lock my phone in my room and go to library to study. If I had to do anything with my gadget, I would take my laptop. Of course, I could do it with my laptop, because there's no way I will now start going to, Instagram or Twitter on my laptop. I don't even have that. Like, locking my phone in my room and going to the library to study, I think that is one way of showing discipline, because you acknowledge that this thing can distract you and you take it. Because there's sometimes we know that this phone is going to distract us, this thing is going to distract us, yet you still take it with you. And so people still even put on their internet connection so that notification can be enjoyed. And the truth is that sometimes we think that, oh, we're doing the social media, we're reading. For example, you're texting your crush, so you're waiting for their message, the phone is open waiting for their message while you're reading. You're not reading anything. We actually do not realize how much we have idolized our gadgets until we have to do without them. I remember forgetting my phone one time to class, and it was such a long day, but then I had no choice but to listen to every single class. That if I was with my phone, it probably would not have been the case, right? Even though I listen in class. What makes them strict in the actual sense is because nobody is forcing you to do these things. You know that you have to do it because of the goal that you're pursuing, the things that you want to achieve. Because on a normal day, you would not decide to just do these things. On a normal day, I will not just decide to be without my phone. On a normal day, you will not just decide to go to that place to study. I'm this kind of person that I don't like studying at night, but whenever I have to study at night, I will reach to time myself 2 hours. After 2 hours, I'm going back to sleep, and then I leave my room, maybe the common room, maybe somewhere that my phone is not there. So that I know that these 2 hours I want to dedicate, let me just dedicate these 2 hours to study and go and sleep, right? Because I know that when I'm with my phone, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Before you know, I'll eventually not study for 2 hours. Pushing yourself beyond your normalcy is what brings you closer to success. So this success, and you are here, you're like, okay, today I'm not going to take my phone to where I'm going to study, or I'm going to take my phone and put on my data, and I'm actually not going to touch the phone because it's possible, right? Yeah, you tell yourself that even when you see your friend where you go to study, you're not going to talk to the person, and when the person tries talking to you, you're going to make sure that you're not distracted by that talk, right? You decide to, study for 2 hours, and you actually concentrate for that 2 hours. You're disciplining yourself, you're getting strict with yourself. Before you know, you're at par with the success that you are chasing. Being strict on yourself is recognizing that that is the only way you can get closer. Like, you have to be real with yourself. This thing actually distracts me, and then decide that, what am I going to do to fix it, and actually fix it. Number two is to create a distraction free zone. Create a place that you know that anytime you come here, it is to get work done, either to work or to study or to do assignment or whatever. Just associate that place with work, not where you relax. You know the way our bed is naturally associated with comfort, right? I want you to associate that place with where you study, not where you eat, not where you chat or anything, where you get the work done. Let it be something that if you are working, and then it happens sometimes that if you're working, because of distraction is first a thing of the mind. You remember, oh, you were supposed to check this video on your phone, you didn't check it. Oh, you were supposed to text this person, you did not text. Oh, you now start remembering things that involve you carrying your phone to do that you're not supposed to do. Now, in this kind of case, I want you to get a journal, or maybe get a sticky note or behind your jotter or a journal, and just write out all these things. Oh, message Bola, check how to make this, check how to bake cake on Instagram, like all the things that you are remembering, write them out. So during your break, or when you're done studying, you go back to them, because once you remember, the moment you pick your phone, you don't just do those things and drop them back, you do more. And the advantage of getting a distraction free zone is that it helps you to be very mindful, so that doing any other thing there just feels wrong. Somewhere that is not usually your go-to place to relax or something. It could be somewhere that you go to get inspiration or to study. I mean, inspiration for if you're creative. The thing about this thing is that it is somewhere that you will normally not go to, and then doing any other thing that this thing is not meant for should feel wrong, because it simply means that you cannot make a decision and live by it. If you cannot do something as little as dedicating this place for this and sticking with it, it means that you cannot make a big decision and stick to your decision. It means that you cannot say something and stick to your words. You don't want to be that kind of person. Create a to-do list. When you know that after eating, for instance, is studying, there's no way you're going to spend 1 hour eating, because you know that you should be studying, right? Especially for people who, when they are eating, they have to watch something. Then the problem is that by the time you're done eating, you don't know how to drop what you are watching to start studying, right? So I recommend time blocking. If you're somebody who's always distracted, maybe you're supposed to eat from 10 to 10:30, put the time there, 10 to 10:30, so that if you're still eating by 10:40, you already know that you are doing something wrong. You're not sticking to the plan, you're not sticking to the schedule and the agenda, right? So time block. There's this thing that I think everybody does. When you want to start studying, you first press your phone for like 10 to 30 minutes before you now lock in. That phone pressing that you do before you lock in is not really a bad thing, but the problem is, can you actually drop your phone at that exact time? Because you say you want to start by 10:20, then you realize that it's already 10:25, so you're like, I want it to be round, so you take it to 10:30, and this thing is already a distraction, even though you haven't started reading. Because many times we think that the distractions are the things that distract us while we are reading, but distractions are also those things that distract us when we want to read. We know that we should be studying, but we'd rather do this. Those are also distractions. Knowing what you want to do, sticking to it at that specific time, there is nothing that beats the accomplishment of productivity. Feeling like, okay, you planned to do this, you wanted to do this, and you actually did it. There's nothing that beats that feeling. 4, give yourself healthy breaks. If I'm studying with the Pomodoro technique, for instance, where I have to study for 25 minutes, take 5 minutes break 4 times, then take 30 minutes break at the end, There's no way I would want to carry my phone or be talking to someone or be allowing myself to be daydreaming and be getting distracted when I know that it's just 25 minutes, right? When you already know that after 25 minutes, you are going to take 5 minutes break, there's no way you will not be able to sit down and lock in for just 25 minutes, right? So taking healthy breaks, putting breaks in between. If you know that you're not the kind of person that can sit down and read for 3 hours at a go, there's no need to be disturbing yourself about it and be trying to force yourself to study for 3 hours, because the problem is when you think that you're forcing yourself to study for those 3 hours, you are getting distracted without knowing. So all those while where you're staring at the wall, right? You're not even, trying to get your phone or talk to someone. You're just looking into thin air, or you're looking at the person in front of you that is busy studying. Those things are also distractions. Telling yourself that you're going to study from 10 to 10:50, and then maybe you take your phone or stroll or do whatever from 10:50 to 11, then you start studying again from 11. Compensating yourself with healthy breaks helps in being able to focus, because you're like, okay, I'm still going to take break. You tell your brain that so that you can lock in for the minutes that are needed. And the interesting thing is when you actually focus, when you say, okay, let me actually focus for the next 30 minutes or for the next 15 minutes, you will not know when it will be time. 5, take a walk. If you find yourself imagining your future, daydreaming, as far imagination won't do, what I recommend you do is to stand up and stroll, like walk around. And then while you're walking around, you're not walking around with the intention of just gallivanting past it. You're walking around trying to do active recall of everything that you read. So if you cannot do it, you already know that you have literally not even started your reading, right? So when you feel like, oh, you spent 30 minutes studying, maybe you even study for just 10 minutes and you spend 30 minutes daydreaming or imagining, right? So I recommend taking walks because it will call you back to focus. 6, reflect on your progress. Sometimes you are studying and you don't even know you are distracted. Like you have literally spent 2 hours studying. You're not even like maybe with your phone or talking with somebody, and you realize that you've read only 2 pages in 2 hours. That's for you to know that you're getting distracted without realizing. If you're someone who maybe you don't even need gadgets to be distracted, like all you need to do is just daydream, just be staring at the wall or object or things like that, right? It is normal or common for this kind of thing to happen to you. So reflect on your progress by per time. After you have studied for 30 minutes, check what you have studied. Does this thing worth 30 minutes? After you have studied for 1 hour, check what you studied. Does this thing worth 1 hour? I cannot dispute the fact that there are some people who actually study slowly. So if you're somebody who studies slowly, by now you should know how many pages you can cover within a specific period of time. So you already know whether or not you were actually distracted. Somebody who is a fast reader, right, and you have spent 2 hours reading just 2 pages, you already know that you were distracted without even knowing. This kind of distraction often comes by staring into thin air, staring at people that are reading around you, maybe chewing your pen cover, drawing stuff on the table, and vandalizing things around you without even noticing. In this situation, you want to ask yourself if you are hungry or not. If you're hungry, please go and eat. The moment I start asking myself, should I go and eat or not? I already know that I'm hungry, right? But if you are not hungry, I recommend that you stand up and you walk around, right? It helps to call your focus back. That change of environment, like just walking around, when you come back to where you're studying, your mind is sort of reawakened to the fact that you're now in reality. So reflecting on your progress is very good because it helps you to know if you are whiling away time or you are actually studying. So this helps and I totally recommend. The truth is everything works for different kind of distractions. So you want to make sure that you implement them. Just let me know the kind of distractions you face in the comment section and the fact that you're going to be adopting these techniques to properly fix this distraction. And I'll see you in my next video. Wait. I would have said bye-bye, but I can't say it without letting you guys know that I made this. Can you guys see this okay? I saw it and I decided to make a wonder out of it. I used needle and thread. You guys, you're not going to believe it, but I used needle and thread to make it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.